Welcome to our Enterprise Blockchain, the Path to Monetization workshop. My name is Guido Molinari, and I'm the managing partner at Prism Group. In today's workshop, we are going to be discussing with a number of industry leaders that are going to be joining us over the next 3 hours. I'm going to be kicking things off with a brief introduction about us, Prism Group, and presenting a couple of frameworks that we can use when thinking about some of the insights that the various speakers are going to be sharing with us this afternoon. And then I'm going to be leading the first set of fireside chats, where we're going to have joining us Mariana Gomez de la Villa from ING Bank, Dimitro Migliorati from Banca Mediolanum, Olaf Ransom from Finality International, and Riccardo Turbiani from Microsoft. After that, I'm going to be giving the floor to my colleague Rick Cataldo, who is going to be hosting a session with speakers joining us from Ireland and the US Coast. We're going to be having with us Jaron McGowan from WeTrade, Shyam Nagarajan from IBM, Chen Zhe from Ernst & Young, and Daniel Wilson from TradeLens, and Mark Treshock from IBM Pharmaceutical Utility Network. After that, I'm going to be coming back, and with me, there's going to be another set of speakers joining us from the US Midwest and the Rockies. Among them, there's going to be Adam Kaplan from Salesforce, Merrick Vass from United Healthcare, the Synaptic Health Alliance, and David Post from IBM, Trust Your Supplier. We're going to then take some key takeaways together with Kathy Barrera, our founding economist at Prism Group, and we're going to draw some conclusions together from today's workshop.
Our next speaker we're very happy to have on is Shyam Nagarajan. He's of IBM, and he is Director of Go-to-Market Blockchain. Shyam, thank you very much for joining us. We're very happy to have you here today.
Hey, Ray, thank you for the opportunity. Much appreciated. And shout out to Sharon. Very thrilled to be your partner, and they've done a fantastic job of bringing the network and as well as its members along. So really great things.
That's right. So Shyam, you're dialing in from New Jersey today. Thank you very much. I know you've worked on maybe hundreds of projects, enterprise blockchain projects, so you certainly have a lot to say. So let's get started. You currently lead blockchain network formation and growth for all industries globally, supply chain, banking, insurance, trading, payments, et cetera, et cetera. Can you give us a 60-second overview of IBM blockchain projects, your role, maybe the ethos?
Sure. Well, we've been on this journey for about 5 years. We started from a point of primarily, let's make sure that we have a technology that's usable by enterprises around the world, while the rest of the world was coming at it from a cryptocurrency perspective. And since then, it's been a journey. I mean, if you go look at the Hyperledger Foundation, it's got more than about 500 enterprises as part of that foundation, and it continues to grow. We have invested in building that technology up so enterprises can use it. We have a platform, so industrialization of that technology can be applied to all the enterprises that adopt it. We build solutions on top of it. IBM Food Trust is one of those. TradeLens, I know you have Daniel coming up next to talk about TradeLens. And then we have a WorldWire, a payments platform that we are working on as well, along with Trusted Supplier. These are all solutions built on top of these technologies. We also are working with a number of ecosystem players who are building applications as well as building blockchain networks, supporting them. And frankly, we have a huge services organization that work with WeTrade-like organizations to help them stand up networks. So you're right, over the period of last 3-4 years, we have touched more than 1,500 plus clients in one form or another with respect to blockchain networks.
Wow, that's brilliant, Shyam. Thank you so much for joining us. We talk a lot about, jumping into the first question, we talk a lot about creating the killer app. Enterprise blockchain specifically, there's a lot of networks being built. Really the focus now is who and how are we going to create that killer app? Having worked with 1,500 different companies, having worked on over 100 projects in some sort of capacity from conception to monetization, you more than anybody in the industry may know that once you've built the rails, how do you know that you have that killer app? What characteristics tell you that you have a winner? And are there maybe one or two of these killer apps that stick out to you?
Look, everyone had a killer app 3 years ago. I mean, that was the state of blockchain business 3 years ago. I mean, anything that you touch, it was the killer app. But people have wisened up since then, and blockchain is not a silver bullet to all things that needs to occur at the enterprise. So from our experience, the way that we see these networks coalesce into a pattern that's occurring in the market is into three buckets. The first one, a kind of network that's primarily built for the benefit of an individual organization along with its ecosystems. And typically it results in building a new product or entering into a new market for that individual organization, just leveraging the strength of its ecosystem. And then the second bucket is, our friend at WeTrade, and what they're trying to do is a great example where you have a multiple competitors, industry, in a single industry, a lot of competitors who are coming together to address an industry problem as an industry utility network. Again, it's the focus in that situation is more around process efficiency, cost efficiency, and compliance into making it easy for the whole industry. And then the last model is what we call as a new markets model, where we see cross-industry collaboration, multiple parties from, say, automobile industry working with financial industry and the insurance companies to coming together so they can set up a new market, new model. I mean, a number of examples that's happening currently around the topic of mobility, right? The idea of wallets that can be embedded into cars, and the cars can go past a toll booth or can go past a gas station and get automatically finance exchange between the different parties. So that's an interesting way how we see these networks going. And monetization in each one of these are a little bit different. So there's no a global answer that this is how you need to do. It changes. But let me dig a little deep into two specific examples where I think that gives you a little bit more indication. The first one is we've been working with a mining network company in Brazil. And this is a large organization. They work with the government, they work with the banking folks, they work with their ecosystem support companies. And a key issue in the mining world is in order for them to get the mining rights, they have to pledge assets. They have to put forward guarantees through the banks and their legal law firms to the governments. So if an untoward incident does occur, a dam breaks, or one of the mining actually has, the incident, then the government has assets to recover and act on top of it. The issue is, as a mining company, that is immense amount of asset that gets locked up into the government that holds it, and there's a whole life cycle around it. And consequence of that, and think of this as in billions of dollars. The consequence of that is it affects the liquidity of the company and how efficiently that they can operate, so they can spin up new projects. So we worked with them, and when we did the initial analysis, what we found was just the visibility into where these guarantees in the organization are, what is the status of them, and when they come up for releases alone freed up significant amount of liquidity, right? And that to me is immense value in the network when you're embarking on a journey, and that pays for itself. So the second one I'll talk to you about is about with the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. And here they, the top 7 telcos came together to address the critical issue of, we all get these marketing calls from all different kinds of brands. I mean, frankly, I don't want another mortgage loan when I already have one right now. And consequence of that is the telco regulators told the market that you need to implement a do not disturb registry. And these telcos came together, stood it up. A lot of governance elements had to be put in place. Business value elements had to be put in place. But it was done under the guises of compliance because the regulator told them to do that. What has happened since that is the individual telcos have realized now they have consent data from the individuals that is available as part of the registry that could be monetized. I mean, consensual data, the yield on a consensual data for a marketing call is much higher than a blind call that's done. So two different issues that kind of address that killer app question.
Absolutely, Shyam. That's really great. So I have a question I'm sure the whole enterprise blockchain world is dying to ask you, and you probably have led most of the success. So IBM blockchain projects have had enormous success in attracting huge name enterprises to their projects, oftentimes even before POC. How have you been able to achieve this? Additionally, at what point do founding partners begin to ask about business value, governance, financial return, and how do you address all of this?
Look, it's brand value definitely helps. Being in the business for the last 5 years has some benefits, but it's not just the brand value alone. It's truly, I believe it's because we have developed a method that allows our clients to very carefully evaluate the business benefits and the business value before stepping on this journey. And look, organizations 3 years ago, we did not have that. And we because of our engagement and our experience, we have developed this method. And the method involves how do you look at a network and evaluate the ecosystem and the use cases that or apps, I'm going to call it the apps that you're building, does it have that network effect to pull in rest of the participants from the industry? Does it have the right incentive structure in it so it can bring in and coalesce the industry around that particular network? And lastly, does it have that reach to bring in the regulators, bring in the extra service providers into that market so it can all come together? Look, it's been a hard journey, I'm not going to lie, but we have made it into a science form that we can replicate, and we can quickly say, based on our experience, whether this is going to work or not going to work, or what is that incentive structure, or what is the governance element that you need to address in order to make this move forward in a better form. And well-structured method actually gives our customers a good journey, and they have milestones that they can look forward to, say, okay, now I'm going the right trajectory.
Shyam, thank you so much. We just have 1 minute left. I just want to thank you guys. I don't think enterprise blockchain would be in the state that it is in the advanced state that it is in today without you and your team. So thank you guys all for pioneering and spearheading all of these efforts. Just to maybe 30 seconds, COVID crisis has brought a number of challenges. Where do you see opportunity? Where is IBM's response? As director of go-to-market blockchain, how are you spending your time? Where can someone read about what you guys are doing in response to this crisis?
Look, great question. If anything, the COVID crisis has put forth the need to have trusted data platform in all the business networks, right? And within that context, we have specifically been working, from IBM's perspective, we've been working on a number of ways how we can better our customer situations, but more specifically within the context of blockchain, we're working on 3 different initiatives. The first one is called IBM Rapid Supplier Connect, and it's focused on connecting buyers and suppliers together in a marketplace. An issue today is that we have buyers like the New York State government and as well as the federal governments, and they need suppliers, but the suppliers are in other different places that, I would say up to 50–60% of these suppliers are bogus suppliers. And how do you prevent that fraud occurring in the system? So we have launched the solution. It's free of cost for the next 120 days. So if you're a company that's manufacturing PPE, please jump on, or if you're a buyer, please jump onto the solution as well. It's available through IBM.com. Second one that we have been working on is actually on emergency medical professionals there have been a sudden need in individual locations. In New York State, there was a need. Similarly, in Washington State, there was a need. So how do you get access to these people and quickly qualify and credentialize them so they can come into the healthcare system because they've been out of that profession?
And Shyam, what is the name of this one? Sorry?
This one is called Emergency Medical Response Platform. And it primarily is for credentializing these professionals so they can come back into the system. And then the last one, and this is one that we all care for, which is how do we come back, return to workplace? How do you track and check the health of the individual so they can be let back into a workplace? And this is very important for essential workers, very important for healthcare, but also so critical for any kind of travel. I mean, how do you open up this entire travel space when you're still uncertain of the health, immunity, and the access to individuals' health information? How do you share this without compromising on privacy and with consent? So that's the last one that we've been working with. And hopefully that's all of these are going to be something that we all use in our future as well.
Well, we look forward to reading more about those. And if there's anybody in the audience or listening on a recording, you know how to contact Shyam. So thank you, Shyam, so much for your contribution. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thanks, Reed.